Welcome everyone to today's episode of Getting In, a College Coach Conversation. I'm Sally Ganga from College Coach. I hope you're all doing well. I'm in Connecticut and I am looking forward to warmer weather and visiting colleges safely and outside. I think today is going to be a really fun show. My last two segments are both about military veterans in the admission and financial aid process. For segment two, specifically, I'll be talking with Christine Sawicki of College Coach, formerly of Stanford, about how highly selective colleges view veterans. And then Lori Peltier, a College Coach finance expert, will follow up with information about financial benefits for veterans and students who are currently in the military and their family. But first, as you can see, if you're actually checking out the video, I have the great fortune of speaking with Falone Cerna, Vice President of Enrollment at Whittier College, about their new Racial Justice and Equity Action Plan and why this matters both to underrepresented students of color, but also to majority students. And I just want to put in the comment that I worked at Whittier many years ago, and I think really, really highly of it. So it's really exciting for me to have on a Whittier guy. so welcome, Falone.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to be on the show. Looking forward to our conversation.
Okay. And if you're watching the video, you'll see beautiful Whittier in the background of Falone's shot. So let's start for our visitor, or sorry, for our listeners. Just tell them what Whittier is. Not everybody has necessarily heard of Whittier if they're not in California.
Sure. Well, Whittier is a 4-year liberal arts college located in Whittier, California, which is in Los Angeles County. We like to say that we're in a kind of a cool spot because we're equal distance from downtown Los Angeles and downtown Disney. So we kind of like straddle that LA County, Orange County line, but we're technically Los Angeles County. Where we have an intimate population. We have about 1,700 students, undergraduate. There is a small graduate program that exists for a Master's of Education, but the center of the campus is around the undergraduate population. And we're one of those institutions that just provides that really awesome, intimate academic setting, lots of hands-on learning opportunities, dynamic faculty, and a real opportunity for students to engage with their peers and the faculty in a way that they may not be able to do in a larger setting. Very active community. We're Division III athletics. We have all of the clubs and organizations, kind of our own twist on fraternities and sororities known as societies, which is a neat feature. We have one of the more bizarre mascots. We're home of the poets. Johnny Poet is our mascot. And the last thing that I will say about Whittier is, as I mentioned, we're in Los Angeles County, and I'm proud to say that we are an institution whose population, student population, staff, and faculty, I throw in there, we actually reflect the diversity that you would expect to find in the city of Los Angeles. We are a Hispanic-serving institution with over 30% of our students being Hispanic Latinx, but we have students, all different ethnicities. We also have a pretty broad spectrum economically, socioeconomically as well, a good representation of students from out of state, a decent representation of international. So when we say diversity, a lot of places like to tout their diversity, but Whittier is a place that's actually walking the walk. And if you ever get a chance, as you mentioned, when we're able to safely have these visits to visit, that's one of the things that many people notice right away. They come on our campus and they say, wow, this is a place that says they're diverse, and I can actually see it walking around campus. So we're really proud of that as well.
Yeah, I loved that when I was there. Whittier, just partially because of the location, and it is just a great place. When I worked there, it was 97 to 99, and we already had quite a diverse population, but there wasn't a lot of effort around it. Right. Is one of the things that I noticed. There were certainly individuals working as hard as they could, but there wasn't sort of an institution-wide effort. And now you have this initiative. And so I'm really interested in learning, and I know that our listeners are too, what this initiative is and how it's going to impact students. So maybe start with just what it is, and then we can talk about, or I don't know, maybe you'll frame it both together, like how it'll impact students, both students of color who are underrepresented in higher education, and also students who are in the majority.
Well, I'd have to give credit to our president, Dr. Linda Oubre, who has been with the college for a little bit over 2 years. And she's one of the reasons why I decided to join the team at Whittier. And one of the reasons why she came on board, she's a Black woman, lots of experience in higher ed as well as the business world, very dynamic leader. And she would probably agree with your assessment that while Whittier has been a place that's become diverse as a result of being in the location that we are, it's a place where, I should say, she felt that the institution needed to lean into that a little bit more. And so this is really just part of the institution's ongoing effort to really lean in to our diversity and celebrate it. It's something that I've been at 5 different institutions, and I can tell you however people feel about the importance or the relevance of diversity, every college campus, every institution that I've been on, they want to diversify their student body and their population. And Whittier's really there. We certainly have some things that we can continue to work on. And that's really where this initiative comes, because it's not enough to just have a bunch of a diverse population, just a bunch of different people on campus. With diversity comes different needs and different things that students need to ensure that they're going to be successful, to ensure that they feel like they belong on the campus and that they own the campus, not just belong. We want our students to have ownership over their education and over the campus community. And so it's really making sure that we are serving our students to the best of our abilities, and really recognizing that with this diversity comes a need for us to, take an assessment of what we do, our culture, our business practices, our traditions, and just making sure that everyone is included in that. And it's going to be an ongoing process. We're still at the beginning of it. And again, while we do have great diversity, not just with our student body, but amongst our staff, I'm proud to say on the president's cabinet, which includes vice presidents and in the upper administration, there's a number of us. I'm not the only Black man in that group. Our dean of students is a Black man. Our vice president for advancement is Black, and I'm actually Black and Mexican, and he is as well. We've got women on the cabinet. Additionally, I'll say that on the board of trustees, it's another thing that we're looking to diversify. And we've done a great job of just having broader representation of women and people of color, to make sure that we're representative. The leadership needs to also be representative of our student body. And so it's all kind of like a combination of all of that. And we're looking forward to getting to work on this, and like I said, making sure that we're serving our students so that they're not only successful while they're at Whittier, but once they leave, this is pouring into them so that when they're alumni and they're out in the world, they know how to act accordingly.
Excellent. So what does this mean? So concretely, we know that you've got excellent diversity in the leadership. How is this directly, that's automatically a positive impact on students, but what are some of the initiatives? What are you thinking about doing that's, how is that going to impact students in kind of a concrete way?
Yeah, so there's a lot of, I'll start by saying there's definitely an initiative towards student services. I'd probably say that's where one way I would start. I apologize. I'm looking for the, as I'm trying to talk here, I want to make sure I get the name right, but we recently hired a new staff member, Dean of Diversity. I'll grab her name in a moment, but we're really looking to make sure that we actually have services on campus that will, make sure that, once we do have students here, that we're appropriately serving them. So, one of the initiatives, one of the things that we discovered while we do a great job with, for example, we're one of the strongest institutions in graduating women in STEM, and particularly Hispanic and Latinx women. But one of the things that our research found is that we need to do a better job in supporting Black students and Black men in particular. And so a lot of the initiatives that we have are going towards that. our dean of students in having a cultural resource center and staff that are equipped to make sure that we're appropriately serving our Black men and our students. We've strengthened our partnership with our Black Alumni Association, and they're getting a lot more involved in making sure we have more mentorship opportunities. And we were recently given a grant that'll provide financial resources for those students as well. So again, it's just looking towards initiatives in those areas that will directly benefit students. And on top of what we already do great at Whittier with our, the faculty and staff doing a good job of, ensuring that we are supporting our students just like we would any students. But as I mentioned, students from different backgrounds and different perspectives have unique needs. And one of the things that I tell students when they're on campus and they're considering an institution and how they may fit in, even a place like Whittier that's diverse, we are predominantly white institution in the sense that that's how, we were established, in a lot of the way the institution runs, from the curriculum to the traditions and culture. A lot of that is steeped in what a lot of people would classify as white culture, right? And so, there's an adjustment there for many of our students, and we need to ensure that we have people on campus and individuals on campus who are going to be able to, support that and make sure our students are able to make those transitions. So sorry. Recently we promoted our first associate dean for diversity, equity, inclusion, who's a long-term staff member. So that's one step forward. And as I mentioned, also we hired a dean of diversity as well. And like I said, fortunately, I should have had my notes prepared. I apologize. I don't want to misrepresent her name, but those are some of the concrete things we're doing. In addition to, I will say, I know this is something we wanted to talk about. Whittier was recently included in the Mackenzie Scott gift. We were one of the, I believe she awarded like 40 institutions a gift, and we're actually one of two of only schools that were not classified as historically Black college or university, tribal, or 2 years. So, and we were recognized because of the diversity that we have on campus. And so a lot of those funds are going to be dedicated towards some of those initiatives that we're looking to do towards this work that we're talking about now.
And so for people who don't know, Mackenzie Scott is the former wife of Jeff Bezos, right? And so this is basically Amazon money, and she's been doing remarkable philanthropic work. So this is quite a big honor, I think, really, too, in terms of a recognition for Whittier and the work that you're already doing and that you can do.
Yes.
So we have a few minutes left, and I was curious if you could address, why is this helpful? I firmly believe that it is helpful. I think it's the right thing to do, even if it wasn't, but I firmly believe that it is helpful for the majority students as well. And I was wondering if you could kind of address like why this is going to be helpful for any student who attends Whittier, even if they are not an underrepresented student of color.
Sure. So there's so much research out there that talks about the benefits of students working in a collaborative setting like a college or university, where it's important to have a variety of representation in a room. And when you have a diverse group of individuals working towards a common goal or project, there's just so much research and evidence that shows the problem solving is just more efficient, and the solutions are just better. There's a saying that I like to use is, if you're only equipped in your toolbox, if the only thing you're equipped with is a hammer, everything that you see is going to be a nail, and your only solution is going to be banging on those nails. Well, if you have different tools in your toolbox, you'll have a lot more different solutions, ways to problem solve at your disposal, and a different way of viewing things. And so, the writing's on the wall. The country's becoming more diverse in terms of ethnic breakdown. And we believe it's our responsibility to make sure that our students are prepared for a different world. And in California, the diversity is already here, certainly. So we want to make sure that our students are prepared to interact, work and collaborate with folks who do not look like them and who come from different perspectives and backgrounds from them, whether it's ethnic wise, whether it's socioeconomic, even someone coming from a different state. I mean, all of these things really come into play. So we believe it's our responsibility to ensure that our graduates are prepared for that.
Mm-hmm. Good. Well, and I'll just throw in that I've done a lot of research on what hiring managers are looking for. And one of the things that comes across is just global literacy and cultural literacy. Like, in other words, not being able to relate to people who are very different from you and being comfortable with that. So, so this is really just you helping the majority students achieve that, which I think is very important. So,
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Any like last words? We have like 1 minute left. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you could even plug Whittier if you want to.
Yeah, well, no, like I said, Whittier's a great place. If any family members or students are still listening, we understand with the challenges of COVID, it's been a really tough year in terms of getting things together, in terms of application, exams, all of that. Our application is still open. We're still considering students for fall 21. We are planning to be open for fall 21. We're making plans for that. So we're real excited about that. And I would just, recommend folks go to, whittier.edu to learn more information about being a poet. We have so many different resources. We have our own podcast that gives students insight. We're doing virtual visits, online tours, a number of ways to engage while we can't have you physically on campus. And hopefully we'll be able to, catch you all soon on campus for anyone who's interested.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. That's a great place to stop. Thanks so much.
Yep.
I really appreciate your time.